Hi, good afternoon, everyone. My name is Christopher King, and this will be my midpoint check-in for our second year field placement. It's hard to believe that we're here because time has passed so fast, but I'm excited that we're here and we are on the road to graduation. So congratulations, everyone. So the first prompt was, what setting am I completing my second year field internship in? So I'm completing my field internship at a hospice care agency. Basically, what that is when a patient has been given a prognosis from their doctor of less than 6 months to live, the goal changes from finding curative measures or just finding a cure for whatever disease or disorder or condition they have to making them comfortable and supporting them emotionally, physically, and spiritually. And so there's a team that's set up comprised of chaplains, social workers, doctors, nurses, volunteers, which all have the goal of providing support in different ways to not only the clients, which are the patients, but also their families who need the support both before and after the passing of their loved one. Just because we understand that it's a very difficult process watching your loved one go through that. And so we provide support when we first come into contact with the patient and their families, but also usually I think it's 13 months after the passing of a loved one. So that gets me into my second prompt, which is, what is one of your favorite things about working or practicing in this environment? My favorite thing about practicing in this environment is the wide array of activities you are tasked with. So I'm primarily a volunteer, so that means on any given day, I am visiting patients in assisted living facilities, private homes, skilled nursing facilities, many different settings, but I'm visiting patients to provide support, to have conversations, to complete activities with them, to help them with their errands, sometimes just to read to them or escort them on walks, but just providing any sort of support I can. But in addition to that, we also have things like memorial services where we gather the families who have recently lost loved ones, and we have a nice memorial service for them where everyone gets a chance to speak about their loved ones, and we do a candle ceremony. It's very beautiful. I'm also making bereavement support calls, and that's basically where I call out to families who have recently lost loved ones to provide emotional support to them, but also to make them aware of the services that we're able to offer for free through hospice. And that includes individual as well as group support therapy. And in line with that, I am also able to participate in those tasks as well, both individual as well as group support therapy. And as a matter of fact, the last semester, I got the opportunity to co-facilitate a bereavement support group, and it was an amazing experience. I love group work in general, and some of you may know that just because I've stated that before. But this semester, as a matter of fact, just last night, I was able to solo facilitate my first bereavement support group, and I think it went swimmingly, as good as I can hope for my first solo facilitated group. And so I'm excited to continue that for the next 5 weeks. And it's been a challenge preparing for it, but it's very fulfilling stepping on the other side of your first group and knowing that you did a good job. So that's overall my favorite part about this, the variety of activities I get a chance to participate in. The biggest challenge of working in this environment, I would say, is definitely the loss of clientele. In any practice setting, I recognize that any practitioner is losing clientele just because at some point everybody eventually comes to the end of their therapy, and there are whole chapters in textbooks about endings in therapy, and so you experience some form of loss. But in this environment, you experience the true loss of a client. So when you end your relationship with that client, they have passed. They're not going on living their lives, and you're not hoping that they're doing a great job and utilizing all of the mechanisms or skills that you've instilled in them or helped them to learn. They're past. And so it's very difficult to establish rapport and relationships with the clientele, and then to learn that they've passed, and to participate in sending your condolences with the family. You have to be prepared emotionally for that, because if you're not and you're keeping it all trapped in, you'll wake up one morning and you'll be depressed or sad or deeply impacted in some way that you can't put your finger on, and that's because you haven't kept up with every emotion that's running through you in an environment like this. And the way that I am dealing with that challenge is just having conversations with supervision, my field instructor mainly, and other social workers, just trying to get a sense of what they're doing to prepare for deep loss in that way, and how that can sort of help them be there for the families and provide emotional support after their loved one has passed. So I would say that's the biggest challenge, but it instills good skills in you just because self-care is pertinent in this environment. It's very important. Otherwise, you'll be emotionally impacted in ways that you can't put your finger on and you won't know how to fix it. So self-care is very important. And I would say, associated with the last prompt, which is what is one thing you've learned about yourself? I would say that I'm adaptable and resilient. I sort of knew that before, especially after my first field placement or first year. But being amidst this environment where you're experiencing loss on a recurring basis, but you still have to be emotionally present to provide support to families of loved ones, it helps you realize just how resilient you can be when you are taking care of yourself emotionally and utilizing what you experience to provide strength to others around you, mainly the families of loved ones. And so that's something that I wouldn't say learned, but rather cemented, as far as my opinion of myself goes, or reinforced in myself. And with that, that's the last prompt. As I always say, good luck with this and the rest of your classes. We are almost to graduation. Again, so hard to believe. But thank you for listening to me ramble, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you.